video, I'm going to talk about our muscles. Going to talk about what our muscles do for us, what happens to our muscles as we get older, and how exercise can help our muscles to work better. And we're going to cover off what kind of exercise is most beneficial for our muscles. So first of all, just to clarify, we have several different types of muscle in our body. We have skeletal muscle, we have smooth muscle, and cardiac muscle. So smooth and cardiac muscles are involuntary. So they just get on and do their thing. They're the muscles in the stomach, the intestines, and the heart. So we don't have to think about what they are doing, and we don't have to ask them to stop and start. They're just going all the time. But skeletal muscles are under voluntary control, and these are the ones that we are talking about in this video, and these are the ones that we're working when we exercise. We have over 700 skeletal muscles in our body, so there are lots of them to work. Many of them are very, very small, and a lot of our exercises focus on some of the much bigger ones, but these are all ones that we can control. And there's a lot we can do to improve how they work. And you'll see there are lots of different pathways that explain how this happens by exercising and staying active. So the good news with skeletal muscles is that the more that we contract them forcefully, the larger they get. And this is called hypertrophy. But on the flip side, the less we use them, the less we contract them, the weaker and smaller they become. And this is called muscle atrophy. And we need our muscles to do two things. We need strength and we need power. The strength comes first, and then the power is the ability to generate this force rapidly. And that's really important for quick reactions and for dealing with situations, especially in terms of perhaps preventing falls, being able to step out, take a compensatory step. And we do some power exercises in the studio, and we will be doing more of them. But the strength comes first. We have to have that muscle mass and that muscle strength in order to be able to do so many things that we do every day. To get up and down from a chair without using our arms, to get up and down the stairs, to do our gardening, to go hiking, to do any jobs we need to do around the house, and to be out and about with our grandchildren, or doing any volunteering or other things that we do, and being out and about in the community, seeing friends and doing things. So many of these things are easier and we feel more confident doing them when we have these strong muscles. Anytime you need to lift something, push something, pull something, move something overhead, we're using these muscles, and the stronger they are, the easier those activities are going to be. So without being too negative about things, I do think it's helpful to understand what happens to our muscles as we get older. So we achieve maximal muscle strength and power in our 20s and 30s. Of course, the rate of decline after that is hugely dependent on how active we are and how much we use and challenge those muscles. But as a general rule, after the age of 50, our muscle strength declines between 1 to 1.5% per year. And then the losses become more dramatic after the age of 70. It's interesting to note that we see larger declines in lower body muscle. So just underlines the importance of doing exercises to strengthen those lower body muscles. So we lose strength, but as we get older, we lose even more power. And this is important because this is what helps us to climb stairs, to step out to avoid falls, as I mentioned before. It affects our ability to move quickly and respond to situations. And that's really, really important. Muscle strength and muscle function is more than just size. So there are lots of different things going on with our muscles when we're exercising or when they're declining as we get older. So our decline in strength is not just due to a loss of muscle mass. What also happens is that the quality of our muscle mass decreases. We lose some muscle fibers. Some of the remaining muscle fibers decrease in size. And we also notice a decrease of characteristics that help the muscle fibers to work really well. We lose blood flow to the muscles, and we also lose motor neurons, which help us to control the contraction of the muscles. So we find it harder to contract the muscle fibers that we do have remaining. So how does exercise strengthen or improve our muscles? So when we overload our muscles, when we lift something that's heavy and that feels hard, what actually happens is that we sustain microscopic tears in the muscle tissue. And then after the exercise, when we have drunk lots of water, we've eaten some good food, including some protein, which is crucial for muscle cells, and we get lots of rest. During that time, our body starts working to repair those cells, because any damage in the body, our body responds by repairing and fixing it. And when it repairs those muscle cells, it rebuilds them to be strong enough to sustain that load next time so that the damage does not occur. When we're repairing the muscles, we increase the size of the muscle fibers. And we also increase the strength of the tendons and the ligaments. So it's all the supporting connective tissue. And as the muscle gets stronger, the tendons and ligaments need to be stronger to also sustain the weight that muscle will be able to support. This has an added benefit because tendons and ligaments support our joints and protect them from injury as well as our muscles. So that's another good reason to be doing lots of these strength training exercises. As well as increases in our muscle mass, so this hypertrophy that results from doing the right sort of exercise, we also see adaptations in the nervous system. So this means that our motor neurons, we create more pathways in the nervous system to control that muscle so as to be able to contract it more quickly and more efficiently next time. So a lot of the increase in strength that we get, especially early on in a muscle strengthening program, is a result of improvements in the nervous system. So our brain realizes that it needs to become better at communicating with that muscle. And it needs to become better at telling it to switch on and to switch off and to do that quickly and well. And so we get improvements in the nervous system as well. So there are lots of different things working together here that benefit when we exercise and therefore help us to be more functionally fit every day and be able to do all the things that we want and need to do. So we need to cover the types of exercise that will help to strengthen our muscles, to lead to these adaptations, to lead to increased muscle mass, to new muscle fibers, stronger muscle fibers, to increasing the strength of our tendons and ligaments, and to improvements in our nervous system to control those muscles. And the type of exercise that we need involves strength or resistance. We need to overload the muscles. So if it's something that you're doing, for example, with a weight, so you're doing an arm curl or bicep curl where you lift the weight up and down, you need to get to a point where you overload the muscle and where you feel a strain. And that's the point at which the muscle goes, oh, this is a bit harder than I'm used to, where you sustain the microscopic tears and where your body responds and makes the muscle stronger. So if these strength exercises you are doing just feel super easy all the way through, that you don't feel any strain or overload or challenge, then they are not going to sufficiently challenge those muscles, and we're not going to get the really as much strength and power increases as we could. We need to be lifting, pushing, or pulling something fairly heavy. And what's heavy for you is different from what's heavy for someone else. But it needs to feel hard. we need to work all our major muscle groups. So we need to work the legs, the arms, the back, the chest, our trunk, and we need to find exercises that work all these different major muscle groups. We can use our body weight to do these exercises. We can use gym equipment, things like dumbbells, resistance bands, weighted balls. We can use general household equipment. So we have a video called Alternatives to Dumbbells that gives you some ideas for household equipment that you can use to add resistance to an exercise. You can, of course, use more substantial gym equipment. You could be using barbells or actual weights equipment in a gym setting. What's really important with resistance exercises is that they are progressive. So we will need to, over time, start using a heavier weight. Or there are also techniques that we can do with the exercises to make it more challenging, even just with the same weight. And we do some of those in the videos. But finding more challenging exercises, increasing the weight, and adding challenges such as, so in some of the exercises that we do, there's a degree of coordination involved, or there's a degree of brain fitness involved, along with the strengthening challenge. The other thing that we need is variety. First of all, for our own sort of staying interested, staying motivated. If we do the same thing all the time, we just get bored and we're less likely to do it again, or to keep doing it. So we need that to keep ourselves interested, but we also need it for our body. So your muscles, they want to be challenged in different ways and they will respond to that. So doing things differently sometimes is good. Doing some different exercises, some different activities, whatever that may be, is really, really helpful, and your muscles will respond well to that. So I'd encourage you to watch, and you'll find it linked below this video. We did a video called What Should It Feel Like When You're Strength Training? So have a look at that video and get a feel for what it's going to feel like when you're doing exercises to strengthen your muscles at the right level for you. And then I want to quickly address a question that I do get quite a lot, which is how long will it take? How long will it take to strengthen the muscles? And generally, of course, we're limited to what researchers have studied. But studies done over 10 to 12 weeks have shown, in some cases, really substantial improvements in muscle strength. Now, the most substantial improvements come where the program is sufficiently challenging. There's sufficient progression over time. So making sure to watch the video on what it should feel like, to once you get confident, and if you've just started, if you haven't been exercising regularly, if you haven't been in the studio for a long time, and you're still just want to build up your confidence with the exercises, then take your time to do that. But once you feel ready, you need to get in a bit of a mindset to push yourself a little bit more with these strengthening exercises. And these are ones that you'll find under the Feel Stronger tab in the video library, in our Strong Foundations videos. And so making sure the key thing is to keep challenging and keep progressing. Remember that to maintain your gains, you need to keep going. We can't just do kind of 12 weeks of exercise, improve our strength, stop doing the exercises, and then hope that our strength gains will continue. They won't. We need to keep going to maintain the gains, to keep the strength that we've built, and of course to keep building more strength as well. And a final note, and this is something I talk about quite a lot with all elements of fitness. Just keep in mind that after the age of 70, what we generally see is that muscle mass and strength decline significantly. So if what you manage to do with the exercises that you're doing here and any other activities that you're doing in your life, if what you manage to do is maintain your strength levels, and to maintain your ability to do these activities in daily life that require good muscle strength, then actually that is really a substantial achievement, because without all the work that you're doing, you would almost certainly be declining. So this maintaining, sometimes it doesn't feel like enough of an achievement, but I think we do need to think again about how we feel about maintenance, because without all this hard work, you would be declining. So feel very proud of yourself if what you manage to do is to maintain your strength and maintain that muscle mass and that ability. I hope this has helped you to understand a little bit more about muscles, about how exercising improves our muscle strength and what you can do to strengthen your muscles further, to maintain or improve your muscle strength. If you have any questions, I'd love to know. There's so much more. I didn't want to talk for hours and hours. I've tried to cover the key points. It's not fully comprehensive. There is so much more. So if you have other questions, please do click on the link below, hop into the forum and let me know. I love sharing this kind of information with you, and I really look forward to hearing your questions. Thanks so much for joining me, and take care.